Okay, so just wanted to go over my trades today. First day being funded. Just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like. Trading the way that I do, we're adding positions and that sort of thing. So right here was my first trade of the day. I was able to get in there. I got in with four contracts and I added one to get to five, the way that it was supposed to be. And then so what had happened at this point is then as it's moving down, I went ahead and I was able to get to break even, and then it came back up and hit my break even on it. So unfortunately, that one I broke even on after being up about $500 on it. So bit rough on that one. Then it comes back up here, and I took another sell right here, and then you can see on this one, I took the sell. It came up against me pretty aggressively, but ended up coming back down. So I started adding to it as it started heading back down. Um, got up. I can't remember exactly what I got up to on that one, but I got up a decent amount, and then it came back and hit me, and I think I ended up losing about $400, somewhere between four and six. I can't remember exactly. Not super important. Just the point is, though, is I lost that trade. So I started out the day with a really good trade that came back and broke even. Another really good trade that I probably aggressively added too much too quick, and that's why I ended up taking a loss on it. So yeah, so unfortunate start to it. Then I ended up taking a trade on the Russ. I took another trade on the Dow before that, and I'll get to the Dow here in just a second. But I took a trade here on the Russ as the market broke up, pulled back right here. I was able to get in towards the bottom of this pullback. You can see I got in right there. It came back a little bit deeper against me, and then before it finally went up again. Um, so and with that too, just to kind of help with this part of it, I spent years and years and years with stop losses below this area, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna get in here. I go up to here, um, and I would lose this trade, and then I would get back in right there, and then I would make a lot of money because I'd have a lot of contracts on here. But what would happen is you would have these times where you would just lose, and all of a sudden I'm down $700-800 in a matter of 10 minutes, and it was like so that's why I use the bigger stops so that I can handle these pullbacks coming in here. Now you have to do less contracts, so you don't make as much on the initial push, but you're not getting stopped out constantly, and that wears on you all day long. It's loss after loss after loss. Even if you end up winning big and making up for it, it just losing all day like that. It's exhausting. So anyways, I was able to get in there. I was able to add to it. Added to it again there, kept adding to it, and then once we got up here, we started running into a little bit of issues. So I was able to add to it pretty healthy. I got up to, I think I was at 10 contracts at this point. And then here on the 5 minute, so I don't exit unless it hits my stop loss or unless I have a double top. The only other time is like if I first open, sometimes I'll run away if there's a trap that forms. Um, but so right here on this double top, so it hits here, it pulls back, and then once it comes in here, this was a full buy candle looking really, really good. And then when you look at the way that this guy snapped back in, you can see that odd spike of volume that's right out of the top that comes racing back in, repaints the candle. It looked terrifying. So I was like, okay, that's enough for me. So I went ahead and closed the trade. Treated that as a double top. It's kind of a weird double top, but that's the way I would look at that because that was a buyer's effort that got rejected off the top, and he wasn't able to break and go higher. He was able to poke higher, but not break. So I looked at that as a double top. So I got out of that trade. You can see it started to move back up. It got another, I think, 12 points out of it when it moved up. So would have been a pretty good chunk more. But the way that it does finally come back and come back in, I would have been adding to it as it goes up. So I may have actually ended up worse on the trade if I would have stayed in it. Either way, I think I still made the right decision, even if this went on for the rest of the day. I think I still made the right decision to protect my profits at that moment. It was a double top, and that's my plan that I run away on double tops if I'm in profits, and I was definitely in profits. So I walked away with I think around $500-600 on that one. Got me a little bit closer to not having a devastating day. I think I was still down around 700 at that point. Yes, I ended up going down total of about 1,300 today at one point. So it was a pretty rough day. But I fought through it and was able to survive it. Um, so here on the Dow was where I spent the majority of my day. So here we had this big push up, pull back right here. So I was able to get in right here on this one. Um, and then let's see, trying to remember exactly what happened on this. So it goes up, it hits that top, and then it looks like it came in with a double top. So I would have exited the trade because of that. There was six there, got in with six, yeah. So I would have exited the trade because of the double top there. So okay, so I exited the trade because of the double top, and then it breaks down lower, pulls back, and so I went ahead and took a trade right here. Um, so I took the trade right there, and then I added to it right there, and then of course it just turned around and just came up and got me. So that one was a pretty big loss. I think that one was another $400 or $500 loss. So pretty painful on that one. And then over here after lunch, went and did a workout, came back after lunch, and then started getting into this again. So here what we had is kind of an odd situation. Let me get this all separated out here. So with this one, I sold it here. So what I'm looking at here is I'm saying, okay, so let me get to where I'm actually at here. Is that where I was? Okay, that's where I am. Okay, so here it breaks down, and this was universal. All the different pairs had the breakdown right here, and then it comes back up. It's a really deep pullback. It came up and poked where it started from. But that doesn't mean that it's dead or anything like that. It's still a valid sell. I got an ABC right here, but there was no volume on this push right here. So I was like, okay, I'm not ready to take that. And it comes back up and pokes the B area. So this is the A, B, C formation. And then once it comes up here and pokes this area, um, you can see right here when it pokes it, it responds there, comes through here, and then breaks with power. So that allows me to get into this trade now. So now that's a valid trade, even though we're above where it started from and all that kind of stuff. Um, Elliott wave theorists would be rolling over in their grave seeing me take that trade after it pokes higher than there. But yeah, so I went ahead and took that. And then of course it turns around and goes exactly against me. And so this was the trap. So I looked at this like this is a B poke. I can get in right here. And then as soon as I get in, you see how it runs away, going the other way. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't give anyone a chance to run away. It's just bam. So that I view as a trap. So if I take an entry and then I get caught in a trap, I'm allowed to exit. I don't have to, but I'm allowed to. And because we were above this area when I entered the trade and then the trap came in, it really made me scared that it was going to take off. So I went ahead and exited the trade. And then, like a good impulsive person, I went ahead and took a buy on it as well. Now, this buy right here, you can say whatever you want about taking a buy on a trap. This doesn't meet any of my rules. This is not a trade I should be taking. This was a very impulsive moment, and I just kind of lost my mind. So I ended up losing like $200 or $300 on this trade. Or no, I think I lost about $100 on that trade. And then I got into this one. You can see it like shot down against me right there. I didn't exit the trade. I just stayed in it and was like, no, no, it's just one 15-second candle. Don't run away. Be careful. And then, of course, it came back up. So I'm like, okay, I'm the smartest man in the world. And then it comes all the way back down again. I'm like, what is going on? And then right here, I was like, oh, hell no. So I ran away right there. Um, Now, this one, once I saw this and I ran away, I was waiting for my moment to get in. So I ended up choosing this moment right here as it started to push down and show some signs of life again. Um, Now, part of the reason I did that was because of this entry right here. At this moment, when I saw that, I was like, duh, I should have still been in that sell because the sell was a valid sell. It just needed to go up a little bit higher and then it was ready to go. It still would have fell within my range. So getting in here, two parts to getting in here. One is because I was about the same entry as that first one, and I was like, okay, let's give this a real shot. Let's get back into that and just say, hey, I shouldn't have exited that trade. So I did that. Um, by the way, I think I'm done exiting on reversals or on traps because the trap on the 15-second does not imply that my trade's no good anymore. It implies that the 15-second still has some work to do, but it doesn't mean my trade's gone. So um, that kind of cemented it. I've been thinking about that I didn't have any real data that shows that those are good trades or good exit reasons. And this one just really, so I ended up losing $300 in this whole mess of things before I took this entry again. The other reason I took this entry is because of this pattern as well. This is a super important pattern. Um, so what we have here is we have a push down, a pull back, and then a push down. Then we have a push up, a pull back, and then a push up, and then bam. Oh, and of course I hit the left button. I tend to do that a lot. And you can also do this like this. It's fine that it has multiple legs. That's okay too. But essentially, what you want to see as a pattern is you want to see the seller push down, then you want to see the buyer push up, and then you want to see an obnoxious candle come in. Okay? When you see those things, these are really, really good signs that something's about to happen on that sell. Okay? Now, you don't need that big of a candle. A candle, this size plus maybe up to there would have been good enough. This candle would have definitely been good enough. What you're looking for is just a candle that's bigger than all the other candles around. Like you want something that's an obviously big candle. Um, while I was trading, I saw this right here, and I almost took an entry based on that because that looked. Because you could also do this the other way. Not to get too much into a teaching moment, but right here and pull back, it breaks up, and then we have the pullback right here, and then it messes around, and then bam. So I was looking at that like, oh, there's the bam. And this is why I don't trade this pattern, is because I don't have the patience to wait for the proper type of candle. I see any kind of somewhat larger candle, and I lose my mind and I go, that's it, let's go. And so I stopped trading that pattern. But it is a very good pattern if you have the patience to wait for it. I do not. I am way too aggressive for it. It's a slow developing, and you miss a lot of trades because of it. So, just a thought there. But that was the other reason for me getting into this trade, is because of that pattern right there that really showed that it was like, yeah, this is it. So by the time it got back to that level right there, I was like, okay, I'll give it another shot. So I took it and just committed that I was going to take a full loss if it didn't come back. So you can see it took off and went pretty well. So I waited for a while so I could reduce my risk on this one, and then started adding. So you can see I added here, I added here. I ended up adding 2 different times in this area, evidently. Got pretty excited. And then I sat through all this mess. It almost got me. I was only like 10 points above here, so it was very, very close to tapping me out, but I was able to survive it. Just pure luck, I guess, that I survived it. But then as it's coming down, I did something that I usually don't do, and I went ahead and added 2 more contracts right here. It wasn't ready yet. I should have waited for it to get lower, but I am an aggressive person, and so sometimes when I see things that say like, hey, this is going, I hit the gas and I can't help myself. I just do it. So I probably shouldn't have done that. It worked out to be really beneficial in the long run. But I shouldn't have done that. That was an impulsive add-on where I just got a little too excited. And then to boot, I was like, I'm gonna add right here, and I'm trying to explain why I'm adding, and then it just popped. And so as it's popping, I added it. I ended up adding like right down here. It was ridiculous. Um, anyway, so it goes on. It added some more times. Added some more. Adding. Just staying with the plan. And then you can see right here, I started to negotiate with myself because again, I was down 1,300 at one point. So down in this area, I started having a very hard time holding. Now I had to talk myself into holding every single pullback today. I had a very hard time sticking with the profitable trade. I wanted to close it multiple times, but I was able to prevail each time until we got down here. And it turned out that I did this in the right time. But to be honest, it wasn't really actually what I should have done. I should have followed my plan, which would have resulted in a lot less money. But I did break my plan. Sometimes you get lucky when you break a plan, but it was a plan break. Now there's good points to it of why I did it and all that kind of stuff, but ultimately I've been doing this long enough to understand my feelings and to admit what's going on in my brain and just be able to express it out loud. And what was going on in my brain at this moment was I was finally up. So once this came back up like this, I was like, oh no, it's going to take back all my money. I'm going to end up being down about $700 if it came back up. So I'd be down $700 on my first day. And to be honest, I could feel it in my bones that what I wanted to be able to do was walk away today saying that I was a winner. Um, I spent most of the last 8 years saying I'm a loser every single day. And being able to say I'm a winner with a funded account was a really, really enticing idea. So I almost closed it up in this area where I would have made like $200. I held strong. I was able to fight through it, and then it finally broke in my favor, so I added, and I was starting to get ready to add again, and then this happened. And as soon as this came back in, so you can see right here, like it comes down, hits that area, and then so this was my break line right here. This was the bottom of my zone that needed to be broken. So you can see my guy goes down here and he breaks. I added, and then as soon as I did, he just shot up like a trap. Um, Now I don't know that that was a trap, and it isn't a trap, but it felt like one. It felt like, oh no, it's reversing back up. I'm going to get a deeper pullback. I'm not holding on to that, so I went ahead and exited the trade. Um, so there was some good reason to it, but that's not my plan. My plan is not to exit the trade off of a whim. I need a double bottom, something like that. So even though this would have resulted in a much worse trade and I would have been down today, the proper thing would have been to hold it for longer. Um, However, I got down to 1800, and then when this guy pulled back in like that, it ended up being, I think I closed it for around 1300. So it was a pretty big difference. I had gotten up to 22 contracts at that point. So I started out at 5 contracts and got to 22. So is a pretty good trade. That, and to clarify, the reason why I can't exit that trade right there, why I shouldn't have exited that trade right there, is that this is when the money gets made. Okay, I started out with 5 contracts, and you can see this was a huge trade, right? Like this was a monstrous trade. It was from where I started at, probably a little bit lower than that, but this is 350 points on the Dow. That's a huge trade in the middle of the afternoon. That's very big. The problem is, though, is that by the time I got to where I was, I still hadn't put a lot of money on the board. Like I said, I was only up to about $1,800. Now, what would have happened, though, is with 22 contracts on, I'm now making about $11 a point. So you figure if you get another, at that moment, once I'm up to those types of numbers, that's when you start to make the money. Is because now every point that moves, you are getting a good chunk of money. And so that's the worst time to run away. That's the worst time to be scared and to run away, because all this is all just getting ready for these moments. So like this next leg, if this next leg would have been 100, how big was this previous leg? Let's say that we just got the same size leg. That one was 200 points. At that time, if I would have left that and I would have got another 200-point leg, it would have been worth over $2,000 to me. Plus, I would have been adding why it's happening, so it probably would have been closer to 2,500. So you have to understand that, like, yes, I ran away, and because I ran away and did it wrong, I made more money. That was still the wrong decision. Because the right decision is to let this thing ride, because that's how I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm not trying to make $500 today. It's awesome. I'm excited that I made $500 on my first day of trading, but running away like that is going to stop me from making a $10,000 day. It's going to stop me from making $25,000 in a day. So even though it looks like the right decision today, um, my plan is not to make $500 a day. If I do, that's great. That's awesome. But this should have resulted in, I should have finished the day somewhere around negative 400, something like that. And that's fine. That's not a problem. I'm going to have days like that. And that's really not that bad of a lost day for me. It's about the equivalent to one trade. So, so yeah, overall, it was a good day. I got to learn a lot. I got to experience a lot of pain and suffering, and I got to fight through it. Um, and I got to win. Um, and so that's great. When you any day that you walk away from the market with profits, it's a great day. And when you look at the fact that I have a $4,500 cap of what I'm allowed to lose, that makes me consider this to be a $4,500 account. Period. I don't care what anyone else says. It's a $4,500 account. Um, so with that being said, I made about 10% profit today off of that account size. That's pretty good. You have a 10% increase in a day, yeah, you win. So that was my day. I'm debating on if I should even post it, but I do have a recording of the trade. So I guess I'll just go ahead and post the raw video of it. I need you to know that if you want to watch that, go right ahead. It's like 2.5 hours long. This was a very long trade that I had to work through. But I'm gonna post it. It's gonna be unedited. So I'm gonna say a lot of weird shit. I'm gonna yell at myself. I'm gonna say mean things to myself. I'm gonna talk in weird accents at times. I'm gonna I'm a bit of a weirdo when I'm just trading and just trying to stay alive in the trade. I'm gonna go and do the dishes in the middle of the trade, like I'm gonna do other things. But I wanted to post it. Hopefully I can post it. It might be too big of a piece of it might be too big, and so I might have to mess around with it. So I'm not 100% sure it'll get posted, but I do want to post that so that you can kind of see what it's like, the anxiety that I'm going through, the pain that I'm experiencing while it's pulling back, all the times that I'm like I should run away, I should run away. And these are things that you have to learn to fight through to trade like this. It's very difficult. Also through that whole time as the market's moving, I'm trying to also show you what I'm seeing, some different things that are lining up, some different ideas that I've had in the past that I wasn't able to get to work, but maybe it might help you. Like I said, this isn't here to teach you how to trade like me. This is here to teach you how to trade. Period. To trade like you. So so that's my day wrapping up. I'll try to get that video posted as well, and then I'll start getting some videos up about just quick little training videos to kind of show you some ins and outs of the market. But yeah, I appreciate you checking it out. And like I said, it was a good day overall. I made $500. But disappointing in that I didn't follow my plan exactly at the end there, and I was hoping to make $10,000 today. So, anyways, I'll catch up with you guys later. I hope you did well today and made some money, and let's just get better together.